Coming at you from Scratchable Studio. It's time once again to rage across the internet. It's your very favorite Werewolf the Apocalypse podcast. As always, I'm your host, Porter. Sitting to my left, the incomparable producer, Danny Tyson.
Hey, everybody.
And across from me is an empty damn chair. Because
That's a bummer.
Someone couldn't show up today.
Yeah, son of a bitch.
Ugh. Just one of those... You know, we were planning it. He said he'd be here. Promised. He said he was bringing lunch.
Are you still supposed to eat lunch?
No.
Oh, don't tease me like that.
Actually, we knew he couldn't make it.
Yeah.
So we thought, what are we going to do about this third chair? Well, we cover it with a blanket. We'll pretend he's here anyway. We'll do funny voices on his behalf. Or...
Can we do that too anyway?
Maybe.
Okay.
That could be a future episode.
Oh.
Or we could call someone out from the bullpen. So, hey, everybody. Welcome a returning guest, a good friend of the show, a patron, and a mod. Melissa. Welcome back, Melissa.
Thanks for having me back.
Glad you could make it back.
Yeah, how you doing today?
I'm doing very well.
We had so much fun the last time. We couldn't think of anyone better to come back.
Well, James Earl Jones is dead, so...
I had a fantastic time the last time, so yeah, this is good.
Just not as good as James Earl Jones, huh, Porter?
Well, I mean, he was knighted.
That's true. That was a question. That wasn't a statement.
He should have been, though.
Why not?
He's knighted in my heart.
That's fine.
Him and Uncle Phil.
I thought they were brothers.
From another mother, I think.
As racist.
Oh, boy. Good start.
Yeah.
Good start.
Feel good about that.
Yeah. Jerk.
No, for real. We're glad to have you here, Melissa. It's good to have you back.
It's good to be back.
And what we're doing here?
We're putting on a show. It's a podcast. We do this every week.
Oh, thanks for reminding me.
Well,
I don't spend most of my week doing it.
It shows in your work.
Oh, that's rude.
Oh, that's mean.
I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you.
It's wide open.
Yeah, that's fine. But changing breeds in different Fera.
That was a thing.
Yeah.
We had just finished
our
Barnyard series.
I thought we were finished.
Our Zoo Town overview.
The Zoo Force.
Well, that's the Ahandi is the Zoo Force.
Yeah, okay.
It's specific.
Gotcha.
We went from the barnyard to the aquarium to the litter box, and then we talked about the Zoo Force, and that was our overview.
Yeah.
And now we have to go to the pet cemetery.
You did it. You did it anyway.
I did it.
Well done.
I did it.
Wow, I didn't
Didn't?
I didn't think that was going to happen.
Oh, no, that's the title, baby.
Pet Cemetery?
Yeah.
All right. Gotta write that down.
Because today we are talking about the lost breeds of Fera. And we're doing it because we want to. And that's... I think that's the worthier part.
I agree.
Because, a little inside baseball, we put on the Barnyard series because people kept asking about it.
Talk about the changing breeds. Keep talking about Fera. That's what we want to hear is Fera.
And we didn't want to, but you guys wanted it, so you're welcome. And then some of you were mad at us because of what we had to say. But you asked for that, literally. That was your fault.
We're constantly asking for ideas for shows.
Right, and people really want us to do the Fera. We didn't want to get into a long, drawn-up series, so we did the overview.
Right.
And, again, we said, well, we'll get back to them in time when we feel like it. But this is something I was excited to do.
I agree.
I want to talk about these.
Or at least a couple of them.
Yes, 2 of them are amazing.
The 2 that we know.
Yes. And then Melissa's going to have to win us over, I think.
Oh, I have this in the bag.
That's
bold
amazing.
Statement.
I've got this in the bag.
You know what that means? She's last.
I don't know, buddy.
Oh, man.
I think but I think either way, we're going to have a lot to talk about. We're going to have a lot of fun. So without further ado,
sure,
we have bats, burgers, and bacon.
It's my favorite. The 3 Bs.
The 3 Bs.
I think it's more beef, really, not bacon.
Oh, it's what's for dinner.
Well, the condor.
I'm sorry, what?
It's beef as opposed to bacon.
Those are different animals.
The bats?
You said bats, birds, and bacon.
No, I said bats.
I don't know where the bacon came from.
Bats, no.
Bats, burgers, and bacon.
Burgers.
Oh, burgers.
Maybe they don't have those in Canada. Let me explain.
No, we know.
Okay.
I think she's just saying that she doesn't want you to say it.
Might have spent 5 minutes on it, you know it. I'd have put on my most condescending tone and spent 5 minutes on it.
That's just like my favorite picture, my favorite meme. It's the pig and the cow laying next to each other and it says best friends forever because the next picture is a bacon cheeseburger.
I would love a bacon cheeseburger right now. Where is Tom with our fucking lunch?
Damn it, Tom. All of a sudden it's a nice day out. I gotta be outside.
Forget my promises that Porter just made up on my behalf right now. Hey, we're going to talk business later, too.
Yeah.
So we should probably start.
We'll get to it.
And actually, Melissa as our guest.
All right, so we're going to... You know what?
Well, ladies first and she's our guest. That's double reasons.
You know what? We'll go with triple. Ready? Lead with your star. Star witness.
That was...
A star witness?
Lead with the star witness. Just go with it.
Yeah, okay. So let's watch you in alphabetical order. 4.
There you go.
There you go.
Oh, there's that too, yeah.
Seriously, you want to take the lead, Melissa?
Sure.
Tell us about the wereburgers.
So I was assigned the Appétit, which are bowls, effectively. And they are, at first read, I was like, oh my God, what did Porter do to me? What did he just assign me? But as I further delved in, I realized that there's a lot more to this particular changing breed than initially meets the eyes. So the long and short is that they are well known for being able to predict matches between shapeshifters and kinfolks, or between kinfolk that would end up breeding true. So pretty useful in a fight against the worm. They're very social creatures, between 6 and 24 individuals with one bull leading the herd, and that's pretty much it in terms of their social hierarchy. They focus very heavily on the cycle of birth, reproduction, and death. So on the outside, they look very peaceful. They're probably the most peaceful of all the changing breeds, with a complete mastery over the rage that puts most stargazers to shame.
So they run on rage.
Go ahead.
They run on rage?
Yeah, they do have rage.
I'll be damned.
They have quite high rage.
They have high rage, but they're just masters of it?
They're masters of it. They can turn it on and off like a switch.
Well, that is interesting.
Leave it to Gaia's Chuck Woolery.
So they can and have unleashed their rage when it's called upon. They prefer not to. They are staunch protectors. So on the surface, they look very peaceful, but they will fly into a terrible rage at the smell of the worm or a threat to those they protect. They never glorified violence, but they took pride in what they create and protect, not in what they are able to destroy. So they spent most of their history walking among humans, guarding them against corruption and teaching them their own traditions, rich and poor alike. And they believed that Gaia had given them the responsibility for breeding, advising, and educating their fellow changing breeds, and even helping Guru find the perfect mate in order to make more Guru, not more kinfolk, more actual true-born Guru.
So, were they like analysts and statistic makers?
They have some...
to figure out what they gotta do?
Interesting gifts that can promote fertility, that they can determine sort of spiritually through rites where the links and fates have determined they're the perfect choice.
You know, it's difficult, I think, when you're looking at someone it's hard to put even a label to it simply enough. It's guyasmatch.com.
Yeah,
it is. A guy is Dr. Ruth or Dr. Drew or again Chuck Woolery. And I'm not sure which reference to pull, frankly.
All of the above?
Apparently.
I mean...
I was going to go for as far back as the dating game, and Jesus, no one's going to do that one.
No, don't going to do that one.
I think Chuck Woolery is borderline, frankly.
But it's not just about the breeding. And I think it's easy to get stuck on just the breeding. They were protectors and educators as well.
So Dr. Ruth.
Sure, we could go with that. They helped everyone. Anyone who asked for their help, they gave it. They didn't really stop, except when the crew started getting a little punchy.
And now you're talking War of Rage here.
Yeah, this is before the War of Rage.
Okay.
So they're just sitting on the cusp of it. And the Guru starts getting increasingly picky over their mates. In fact, some of the Guru were bragging about rejecting what the Appices were sending them. And the Guru left their children in the care of the Apis. And the Apis believed in raising children who used their natural gifts. Things that were natural to them, like music, animal husbandry, agriculture, mysticism, that sort of thing. Guru, as we know, wanted warriors. They didn't want somebody who could plant flowers. They wanted somebody who could fight the worm.
Well, that is kinward.
Which makes sense. But whatever sort of got the Apis up and sort of said, you know what, screw this, you're on your own, it happened all at once. Like, just, these Apis were actually in Guru communities, and they didn't talk about parents per se, but they talked about Guru communities. So there was Apis all sort of dotted everywhere, all sort of helping Guru and Bastet, although, some tribes said, you know what, we don't want your help, and only called on them when they really needed them. But the Guru left their children in the care of the Apis, and when they started just saying, you know what, we're done here, the Apis got up and left every single community all at once. And
just so leaving the Guru children to fend themselves.
Well, yeah, I mean, in these communities. And so when the Guru found this really annoying, because now they had to raise their own children, but also the fact that they felt that the Apis had abandoned their promise and their sacred duty protecting their children. And they laid claims of cowardice that the Apis feared to defend their young charges against the worm. So going...
How dare you leave our kin? The worm's around.
I mean, it sounds reasonable. Yeah. If your job's to be the nursemaid, get to nursemaiding.
Yeah. As I said, protectors. So they could accept anything but that. So they basically challenged the Guru to duels in the hopes that it would teach the Guru some humility. Big won? Mistake.
Yeah,
who won?
Doesn't sound like a very smart idea.
No, because the Apis duels were very non-violent. Games of strategy or singing or oratory. And if violence was required to, answer the insult or resolve the dispute, they took to their aurochs form, which is their sort of bull form, and locked horns until one combatant was forced to the ground. There was very rarely any deaths from that.
That did not go well.
No, because the Guru didn't care about tradition. They didn't care about the symbolic gestures that they were doing.
Yeah. You want to fight me? Okay, let's go.
He asked me a riddle, and I answered it.
This is the perfect line from the book. It says, the Apis prepared to duel. The Guru prepared for slaughter. And that's exactly what happened. So, Apis are like, okay, we're in our happy bull forms. We're ready to sort of lock horns and set this up so that eventually we will work together again. A lot of the Apis felt that, once they resolved this dispute, they could talk to the Guru and they would work with them again. Nah. That's not what happened.
That is adorable.
So, and this is still all before War of Rage, correct?
That's correct. So this is on the cusp of the War of the Rage. The Guru are tasting the blood of the other changing breeds, and they are now looking at these guys going,
well, who doesn't love a burger?
Go through you like
they're hungry. That. Burgers are delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Medium rare, baby. Let's do it.
Not only that, but so now once we get into the War of Rage, there can't be many left.
There's none.
Oh, that was easy.
That's the thing. So
make me another burger.
Some stayed behind and fought, and they fought, to near extinction. And the Apis that did flee from the Guru went to the other changing breeds for protection. But because the Apis were neutral and wanted to stay neutral in the War of Rage, and had been helping the Guru with their numbers, nobody wanted to help the Apis. Nobody. So they were on their own.
That tracks.
That makes sense, yeah.
So there is a group called the Last Hope, and these are the very last of the Apis in existence. They traveled to the Deep Umbra to find a way to bring back their numbers. That was about 500 years ago. Any of those that remained in the real world have died out, either to disease, to age, or just the fighting that still happened after the War of the Rage.
Now,
so
Melissa,
they are, in effect, extinct.
Melissa,
and
you said 500 years ago? That's from modern day.
Yeah.
So you're saying that they survived through the War of Rage, this Last Hope?
This group disappeared into the Deep Umbra.
That's impressive that they were, I guess, still around that long.
This is the kicker. The Last Hope has not been seen. They did not return. They, as far as anyone knows, they're still in the Deep Umbra. But even if this group was to reappear, and this is it's the unfortunate part of this, they cannot save themselves. They are effectively the last of their kind. They can help the other changing breeds, including the Guru if the Guru were to do so, but they cannot bring back their tribe or their breed.
Now, this thing with the Last Hope, is that in the section? Because I know every one of the lost breeds has a section on the possibility of them existing in modern days. Is that where that's coming from?
Yes. So there's a little sort of section that talks about modern knights.
Right, yeah.
And this is what they're talking about, that even if they are able to bring back a specific kinfolk that might draw the Last Hope out of the Deep Umbra, it's unlikely that the Apis will that they'll arrive, but they won't actually be able to create the Apis again. Does that make sense?
No.
So even if they survive, they're not going to last long once they get here.
Right.
Exactly.
And I mean, this is
while they're here, they can help.
This is something that Danny and I talked about behind the scenes, not this specific scenario, but the fact that each of the breeds has maybe they're still around this way. And, I felt that was a pretty valid discussion point for the show.
Absolutely, yeah.
Is, for me, let's start with you. How do you feel about it, Melissa? How do you feel about that idea of them returning?
I mean, I think that their whole thing was a tragedy. Really. It's a true tragedy. Because it wasn't even due to the War of Rage. It was at the cusp of it. And it may have even been the kicker that started everything. But the fact is that a lot of their gifts, a lot of their abilities would really help the Guru right now. But it's very clear in the book that it says there is no chance that the Apis will ever make a full recovery. Because they just can't help themselves.
That I appreciate, because there's like a glimmer of hope. Pun intended, I guess. But
But I bet there's a tragedy behind it because ultimately they're all screwed anyway.
Right. So even if they did survive, they're not going to last long.
See, my problem, and I have a problem with this, insofar that, and I'm sure it's going to come up on more than one occasion here. I have a feeling it will. Probably. Is this idea of, we were in the deep umbra and now we came back. Now, look, you can do anything you want to with the umbra. There's a lot of loopholes. It just seems so simple.
Yeah, like a cop-out. Yeah,
it does. That these races have been gone forever. And then one day they just step sideways into L.A. Like, oops, here's 8 of us. It's crazy. It just seems so easy.
It does. And again, it sounds like a cop-out. But again, when she was saying that even if they do come, their totem's gone. The tribe is gone. So even if there's a couple left, they're...
It's borrowed time, certainly.
Exactly.
And I think that helps.
Yeah.
But it's and again, I can appreciate it on that effort. And there's ways you can see it. It's one of those you can, but should you? White Wolf used to have a stance on this sort of thing.
Really?
And I know, Melissa, you go from, this isn't your first story either. So know the attitudes back when of, it was always, you can do it however you want, just don't do these things.
Okay.
It was always this implied mentality. There was like, yeah, you can do whatever you want in these games, but no, you can't play a White Howler.
Okay.
They're dead. Shut up about it.
Mm-hmm.
It was this unspoken rule. And you had the early adopters, I guess you could call us, who we learned to speak the language.
Okay, so you got that hint, and you never let it go.
Yeah, and you had that level of the fandom. And I know you know what I'm talking about, right, Melissa?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Who went, these are the rules, and you can't break these rules. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I'm looking at the clip that they say here in the book, and it says Apis in the modern day.
Yep.
So they're saying if any happen to survive, it's only because they've lived in the far depths of the Umbra. And because the Aurochs have been extinct for 400 years, any surviving Apis cannot reproduce. They're very clear. Cannot reproduce even with humans. They are literally the very last of their kind. They can help save other changing breeds from extinction and boost their numbers by giving advice with successful breeding, but they cannot save their own kind.
I appreciate that more.
End of story.
No, and I mean, I believe that. But I think what I'm focusing on at the moment here is that shift in the mentality.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Because during the development of Werewolf 20, I know where to find it, don't make me hunt it down. It was a post in the Kickstarter for Werewolf 20.
Okay.
They talked about a shift in that mentality. In fact, they talked about the original mentality and how the fans grafted onto it, and that became the way that it was. No, you can't play White Howler, you can't play a Cappadocian. Shut up. You can do whatever you want, you can't cross these lines. And this was one of these lines right here. And I mean, the Apis, they didn't exist back then. They weren't created yet.
Yeah.
But this is one of these lines that back then they would have been like, no, you don't cross this line. And so you see a shift in that design. It's the same way that there's a White Howler tribe book now.
Which is...
It's neat.
Sure.
And we'll talk about it on that show. But, how do you feel about even the concept of resurrecting, even briefly, these lost breeds? Melissa?
I'm the old school White Wolf. I don't like to break canon too much, but I think if you're going to have fun with something, like a one-off, let's do it just this once, I think there's nothing wrong with it. But they're very clear about the Apis. And I think the Apis are probably one of the most useful of all of the changing breeds because, as I said, some of their gifts would really help the guru right now.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, they have a gift that guarantees that a pairing will breed true, doesn't it? Or a gift that will, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Guarantees it.
Wow.
Yep.
That's, so she's right. It would absolutely help everyone right now. We would not have...
And it's only a level 3 gift.
Holy hell.
Right?
Yeah. So they even get a little snarky in the book because they say it's called Hathor's Blessing. And it says that the Apis can promote fertility in others, even to the point of increasing the chance of a shapeshifter breeding true. Had this gift not been lost to the ages, perhaps the guru nature would not be so desperately outnumbered by its foes.
I just have this mental image, though, right? Mm-hmm. Hear me out, right? Of like, it's the Aspis are alive and all that, and the guy's talking to a Naga, they're at the zoo or something.
Okay.
And the dude just punches the glass and pulls a cobra and hands him to the Naga and goes, "Here, nail this." Knock this thing up.
Oh my god.
They also have a gift called the Mercy of the Misbegotten. It's a level 5. Anyone is fertile for 24 hours, including Metis.
Gross.
Really?
Yes.
That's going to be a flipper, baby.
Oh my god.
And it's a baby. It's an actual, it's not like they're giving birth to a Metis. It's a baby.
Does it say that the baby's alright? Because I think I picture that being like triple down.
Let me.
Like, you ever see Multiplicity?
At it.
Yeah. It's like the clones of Multiplicity.
Yeah, the last one. The last one in Multiplicity.
The really, really dumb one, yeah.
Yeah, it's the level 5.
Podcast before.
So what it does is the Appétit touches the subject of her blessing, and the player spends 3 Gnosis points. The subject is cured of any infertility, impotence, or outright mutilation of the organs for the next 24 hours. In the case of women who conceive under the auspice of this gift, any necessary blessings continue to linger until the child is delivered.
All right.
I mean, that's what they were made for, right?
Yeah.
That is what they're made for.
Yeah. I mean, I was going to make a joke about being food, but that's what the Lepics are for.
The Lepics?
The were-rabbits.
Oh, the rabbits.
Guys, midnight snack.
Midnight snacks, yep. Yep, I remember that one.
Their purpose is to breed and get eaten.
So seriously? I think these guys, if you're going to...
I don't know if he's serious or not. He's being a dick.
Anyone.
It's like 25% dick.
No, the Lepics aren't real.
Okay. I'm so very confused, alright? Fuck you.
Guy is midnight snack.
Sure.
See, they were created to be the perfect balanced meal for a shapeshifter.
Only in your head, right?
Not just mine, Grant too.
Okay.
It might be snuck into Savage Age.
Oh, Grant, you son of a bitch.
It won't be.
Okay. Trick me like that. God damn it.
It's pretty good though, right?
If you say gullible slowly, it sounds like oranges.
That's right.
Alright, sorry.
Yeah, no,
continue, please.
I mean, are we... I mean, I can see, again, with the very specific scenario surrounding them, how, if you were to bring them back, they are still doomed, and I think that's important. And I think that's the only thing that would make me even consider doing it. But, and again, I know that the Umbra can be a wild and wacky place, but you start to disconnect after like a month or two.
That's what I was going to say. Like, if you're not in the realm for so long, you start to lose your physical body.
And that's the problem I have, is that the Umbra's crazy is just such a lazy solution, because they should be nothing but ephemera. There shouldn't be a physical body anymore.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I see it that way, because, again, if they do show up, like, maybe they would pop in the realm when no one's looking for a second or two just to keep their physical form. Sure.
But if they're in the Deep Umbra, they're absolutely not doing that.
Yeah, good, even better. Yeah. Even more so.
I just think if you're going to do it, have a better explanation. You kind of have to do the Umbra thing, but there needs to be an explanation of where they ended up.
Mm-hmm. And they don't say.
Exactly.
Like a stuck kind of thing?
Well, I don't love this solution, but the first thing that comes to my brain is that they were in Summer Country or a variant thereof.
Okay.
That Gaia took mercy and or pity on them and I don't love that answer, but backs to a wall, I gotta say something, gun to my head, that's what I'm saying right now. But at least, if you're a storyteller doing that, come up with a better answer. It's crazy, the Umbra's nuts. I don't know.
Yeah, it sounds, like I said, it just sounds like a cop-out.
Yeah, it does. It sounds cheap and lazy. I'm sorry.
I agree with you.
Do you have more for us with the
burgers?
Yeah.
Yeah, burgers.
There are no metas. It's only homid and only
Just say lupus.
beef form.
There you go.
It's what's for dinner.
They only have 3 offices: Theurges, Philodoxus, and Arunes.
Are they named the same, or is it?
No, it's Twilight, Solar, and Lunar.
Okay, so it's just their equivalents of.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's cool.
They have Rage, and it's used the same way as Garou.
Which you get is shocking to me. But
what?
Sorry?
What you get is shocking to me because of the nature of what they do.
Okay, but yeah, she said that they
No.
have complete control of it, which was kind of cool.
Yeah. No, I was here the whole time. I was just surprised by that.
They suffer from both silver and gold.
But really? Well, I suppose playing both sides there with the solar.
Yeah, I was going to say, if they're affected by gold, that's because they're also children of Sun, or Helios.
Helios, yep. Uncle Helios.
Yep.
2 scoops
Uncle
of loving.
Helios.
2 scoops.
And they can step sideways into the Umbra just like Garou.
Okay.
All right.
And my personal favorite gift is the form of Titan, Land Titan, which basically they become a primal bull, massive and unstoppable, a juggernaut almost the size of an elephant.
So they see red.
Oh yeah. So they're not peaceful 100% of the time, like, let's sit down and chat. Let's sort of talk about this. Oh, you really want to go? All right, we're going to go.
Olé.
And then they turn into a giant ass bull.
Olé.
That's right.
Olé. Now I'm picturing that.
Good.
Yep.
I will never be able to get that out of my head.
Mission accomplished.
Look at that first one right by her, too.
Oh, yeah.
You're in for a surprise when you hear this when it airs.
Oh, God.
Good.
So yeah, that is the Apis, and I was really intrigued by them.
It's a more interesting story than I expected.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. They're definitely not as boring as I thought they would be.
I'm definitely glad I didn't cover them.
Because you just would have lost it.
Hey, thank Tom.
Oh!
Can't keep his commitment straight.
We gave him the short end of the stick. I called dibs on the Grontor immediately.
Yep. Well, we knew that was going to happen anyway.
That's damn right. Now, was there any mention of their totem?
No. There was no mention of a totem.
Because this is something that makes me wonder, is we do have Minotaur out there.
He's still technically a totem out in the wild.
I mean,
quote unquote there.
Full of just rage and seething fury. And in the current setting, I think it was less brought up in the Skinner little source book thing.
Okay.
The game book, where he was trying to, or has, I'm fuzzy on it now, become the totem of the skin dancers.
Is he just picking someone who's around just so he can stay relevant and not die out?
Well, I'm curious now, right? As we look at the Apis, that maybe was he their totem? Was he in that brood? I mean, at least in the brood makes sense to me.
Sure.
Which would also explain just the groundbreaking anger over what happened, and it also would explain, that overwhelming hatred, the want to maybe ally with the skin dancers who have a bone to pick with the Garu Nation in the first place.
Oh, okay. I'm following you now. So, yeah, they're...
Yeah.
Yes, I see what you're saying. They don't like the Garu either. Here's my opportunity to get back at them.
Right. I'm just spitballing there. I mean, it's curious, isn't it?
Yeah, no, there was no mention of a totem. Not like, say, the Goral has bear. I didn't see anything that indicated that, so it could well be that it's either bull or it could be Minotaur.
Well, I mean, even then, if it were bull, surely Minotaur would have been in Bull's brood. Minotaur would have been a member of Bull's brood. Yeah, there we go. I mean, that
makes sense.
That's just logic at that point, right?
Yeah.
Is it an unaffiliated totem spirit?
One of their forms is called Minotaur.
Yeah, we have bull changers for,
So she just said one of their forms is Minotaur.
Yeah,
Is that like what would be the equivalent of Glabro?
No,
That'd
they
be the
have 3
Krynos.
forms. Homid, Minotaur, and Aurochs. Aurochs is the wild bull.
So
but the
play
Minotaur is
Earthblood
about
rules.
10 to 12 feet tall with deadly horns. They do aggravated damage, and they can gore you.
Cool.
They actually look like a Minotaur from the myth and legends.
See, yes, they're Krynos. They play Earthblood rules. They don't have Glabro and Hispo.
Bastards.
Unless you're fighting them. I guess.
We can't.
Oh, that
Can't
game.
keep going.
That game.
Can't keep going.
Those liars. So, all right, yeah, I got to admit, that's a more interesting take than I thought, and for everybody else, there's some food for thought with the connection between Minotaur and them.
I was gonna say
There's
food.
something. I think there's definitely something to explore there if people are so inclined.
Sure.
But
you have to go back for a while though, time wise.
hey, or they can just shove it out of the Umbra.
Look at those.
It's Tuesday.
It's Tuesday.
What?
I got
Go back in
about.
time.
I got
Do
about a
not
week.
challenge the crew.
Just get the DeLorean fired up, and we'll
Oh,
be
there
all
you
right.
go. There you go.
So Danny, what do you got?
Kamatsats. Kamatotes. I'll just say this. My wife is an English teacher. And hey, I know this is not a real word, but as an English teacher, how would you pronounce this? Her answer was, I don't freaking know.
I never would have thought that'd be the pronunciation.
Yeah, so the I don't freaking know are
Huh. I friggin' know. Like his one word?
Kamatsats. We're just going to Kamatsats.
All right.
Almost like camel tots.
I was trying not to make a similar joke this entire time.
Oh dear.
Kamatsats. Like, the first couple sentences in there were, they're the ears of Gaia, or, ironically, her voice.
Well, and what are they for the uninitiated?
The bats.
I knew that. I just someone didn't.
Alright, you're right. I apologize. So the bats, or the Kamatsats, are the ears of Gaia, or ironically her voice. And better than Korax, because they were more like the secret messengers, and not so gossipy.
Okay.
Yeah, they're more like spies.
I feel like maybe it's the refined version. Because if we go back to the Bastet, and again, their previous version, not their 20 edition, where they're the middle managers, but back when they were the secret keepers, right? And it was I'm not going to tell you because it's a secret.
Right.
Screw you, Gaia. And then so she did the Korax, who wouldn't shut the fuck up.
So then it was the bats.
So yeah, I think the bats were the third try. It's like Goldilocks, right? Like too hard, too soft, just right.
Yeah, okay.
What do you think, Melissa?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that's it. All right, got it.
Stunning endorsement.
Well, they were kind of like spies, and they relied on like their speed and stealth.
That's cool.
Definitely interesting to read something like this. I was not expecting it because I didn't know. The only thing I knew what we talked about with the Shadow Lords, in the tribal episode.
Okay. So you had very little to go on.
Very little. So at the same time, all the Kamatsats were feared, especially by Garu, because nobody knew if or when they were listening in on any of the conversations. Bats could hear everything.
The walls have ears, man.
Well, the walls have bats who have ears. I tried. That was so bad. I'm so sorry.
Tell us about the bat, man. Yeah, I gave you something worse.
Yeah,
Take
you
that. Trying to make you look good.
So we kind of skipped right to War of Rage, and again they feared them, so they kind of took most of them out. But while they hid, their totem bat, capital B bat, would teach them like blood rituals that would increase their strength and power. So
To help them defend themselves.
help to defend. They were very careful in this, being blood rituals, and a very small amount would fall to Wormtaint. But those who did fall were like hunted down by the rest of by the bats themselves, by the Kamatsats.
All right.
And that was just so they had to make sure it wouldn't get any worse. Just thought that was awesome.
No, I'm gonna.
Now here's the funny part. Well, maybe not funny, but like really interesting part.
Mm-hmm.
When we talk about the Shadow Lords, who really that was their doing, was the War of Rage 2.
Yeah.
the Shadow Lords would see these blood rituals that they were doing to
strengthen themselves. It was given to them by Bat.
Was given them a bat to help strengthen and defend themselves.
But those blood rituals were the thing that caused the Shadow Lords to react the way that they did.
Exactly. So,
shit.
The War of Rage 1, let me do something for you to help defend yourselves, is also the same thing that caused War of Rage 2.
That's unfortunate.
I thought that was so cool to read.
No, it is, but because, like, ain't it the fucking way?
Yeah, it absolutely is. I was like, as I'm reading it, like, and I started putting 2 and 2 together, I was like, holy shit, what did you do?
Bet you ass.
Yeah.
And not even, though. Just an unfortunate coincidence.
Yeah. And you know, there's even parts of it where they would say Bat kind of went crazy and Bat fell to Worm.
Oh, you got a book quote ready for us? Huh?
I'm getting it ready. How about that?
All right.
It's not there yet.
No, it's fine. We shouldn't be. It's just a show we put on.
Wow.
See, this is the unfortunate thing.
Because I'm debating whether or not I'm taking that out or not.
That's because Melissa isn't here in studio to see the reaction on both of our faces.
Right.
To know to laugh at this shit. There we go.
I'm picturing it.
There you go. You're doing well. I got him good.
Yeah, you did. So, okay, fine. Just still gonna keep going over here.
No, please do.
Kamitsat's very much like rats and ratkin. They're not born, they're created.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's weird. They're more rituals. That the rituals are held in, like...
Transylvania?
The words they...
Oh my god.
Yeah, me again. The words they use were special umbral caverns.
Okay.
And also, because of that, there are no metas. Because they just pick either baby bats or baby humans.
Now, did the baby humans go in the umbral caves, too?
Apparently.
Little cribs of guano?
I'd see, again, it doesn't say much. It just says they're performed in umbral caverns. So here I'm thinking, like, the babies are, like, stolen, kidnapped.
Sure. I mean...
It's kind of where my head went.
I don't mind.
Now, again, also because they're created and not born, they don't have auspices. They're just bats and they secret spy messengers. That's it. Period. They can step sideways. They can only do it in, like, the darkness or in, like, shadows.
That's kind of neat.
Or they can do it if in light, but they're only with, like, a special gift.
Reasonable. They
have sonar in all but their Hobbit form.
Again.
Yes. They're
not Daredevil.
Nope, not doing it.
Okay.
So they have 4 forms, and then they have a 5th form, which is only through a gift. But that gift is the 1,000 wing form.
So, like the Ananasi.
Very much like the Ananasi. Just turn into tiny bats and scatter. But they can fly.
I would hope so.
Yeah. A bunch of tiny bats.
Yeah, I want to see like 1,000 bats just kind of hopping around.
Like, get me out of here.
Right? That's not going to work out too well. That's a bad plan.
Yeah. So that 5th form is only through the gift.
Okay.
1,000 wing form. But yeah, gotta get out of here. Just turn into a tiny bunch of bats and scatter.
Wow.
I'm just picturing that.
It's right? So awesome.
No, it's awesome.
It is awesome.
When with them flying away.
Right.
But when you take it the other way, when they're just kind of like...
they try and fly.
Like squirming or hopping or whatever. One's rolling on his side. He's just like, fuck it. Let's get out of here.
Too many of them hit each other and they broke a wing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It just reminds, like Dracula.
Like 4 of them are the wrong type of bat.
Just thinking like old Dracula movies and how he either turns into a single bat and flies away, or he turns into a bunch of little bats and flies away.
Or the one with Leslie Nielsen, where he turned into a bat with the Leslie Nielsen face. Thousands of little Leslie Nielsens flying away.
Oh my god. Oh god. No, I do not want to think of that. It's too late. Buh.
I'm not sorry.
I can't even find that quote I was going to look for anymore.
Shit. I know you were telling me something earlier, and I said I specifically shut us down because I wanted to have that conversation on the air.
Okay.
With the three of us is about bat as a totem and how the company line has always been that the death of the last of the Commissars, the last one, caused bat to go insane. And we talked about in the Shadowlord episode where there was the Screech, and the Screech loosened the bonds for the Storm Eater, and how that was bullshit.
Yes, I remember what you're saying, and that was the quote I was looking for, so thank you for reminding me.
Oh, perfect. No, because I wanted to talk about it.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to fake the conversation.
Right.
Let's just do it for real.
No, so what from the book here, the destruction of South American Chemitsats drove Bat over the edge. The Garu claim that the slaughter drove Bat straight into Worm's arms, but that isn't strictly true.
There we go.
The spirit's mind and identity fractured under pressure of his grief and rage. Bat became two spirits sharing a single essence, one of them still loyal to Gaia, the other a corrupt spirit that had given itself wholly to its original master.
That's awesome.
Yes.
When I read that and I was looking right at you, I was like, holy shit, we gotta see this. And then you stopped me. I was like, yeah, that's definitely worth mentioning here. The two sides of Bat fought. They were evenly matched. The worm whispered poison into the ear of one side, but the guy inside stood resolute. It would take an outside force to tip the balance in favor of one or the other.
And which is cool because we see evidence of that going on in at least the current day revised setting. And that's one of those things about revised that could be true about 20 also, that isn't necessarily, attached to the apocalypse. So it could still be going on insofar as it. And we talked about the Shadowlord episode.
Right.
Where the descendant of Darkclaw Vengeance, I believe his name was.
Yes.
Is working on redeeming, well, quote, redeeming.
Yeah, they have
in their mind redeeming, but
part of their brood, I don't remember which
yeah, they got that whole camp specifically to bring Bat back into the fold. And that's a really interesting new spin on that, to know that there's that aspect of Bat that was always in the fold. Just
it's been going on for so long, it's still happening.
Dude, I'm reaching out, help.
Right, yeah. Again, it's the opposite sides fighting against each other.
It's Two-Face.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but they're evenly matched. I think that's a bigger deal.
Yeah. I think it's super cool. It recontextualizes the whole event, the series of events.
Now, kind of leaning off what we were talking about, the Appétit with them being gone and lost into the deep umbra, it's very similar here with the Chemitsats.
Oh, I knew it.
I knew you would, and that's why I kind of waited till the end of my little speech here.
All right.
So, any Chemitsats who survived the massacre by the Shadow Lords did so by remaining in the deep umbra. They seek to repopulate their members and return bearing messages from Gaia herself. The Bat Totem fell to the worm when the Chemitsats were destroyed. Perhaps the characters want to redeem and cleanse it, which would prepare a way for the return of the Werebats, and maybe a Bat's redemption happened recently, paving the way of the Chemitsats' return. I was okay with it until the last part there. I don't think it's right to do a return of that. I like the idea what the Appétit did, and if they return, they're only lasting for so long here. They're lost in the deep umbra. That's a long time ago. Obviously it's a little less than War of Rage 2 happened more recently than War of Rage 1. But
I have to say that there's a difference between the Appétit and the Comatose.
Several.
Yeah, there are.
The Comatose are created.
Smaller. Wings.
Right? The Appétit are not. So you could, in theory, if you do all the proper steps and it would take, if you wanted to go in that direction, you could resurrect the Comatose, because as long as somebody has the ritual to make more Comatose, there might be a lot of baby stealing, but the potential is there.
She worded that.
That would flag somewhere, but
that's what I'd call that chronicle.
Baby stealing?
Give me that baby. Give me that baby, chapter 2.
Barbecue sauce.
Oh my god, I was thinking exactly that.
I'm not saying you have to do it, but I'm just saying that if somebody took that into their head that they wanted to resurrect the Comatose, then yeah, you certainly could do it.
Of
course. Lot easier than some.
But I think the thing is, like, it's the deep umbra. There's so much to it, and again, I just think it's a cop out to me personally.
Oh, I agree, but I'm just saying it would be.
Oh, sure. As a storyteller,
there.
Yeah, as a storyteller, you can do whatever the hell you want.
I'm sorry. I'm so proud of the barbecue sauce thing. You're in my fucking mind, dude.
That was awesome. How many times have we done this podcast too?
I don't know, but I'm
probably like 4 or 5.
Wow.
And if we've done it like 4 or 5 on the podcast, how many times have we done it in real life?
Holy shit. I'm so proud of you. Chip off the old block.
Oh.
No, I'm into this. I'm sorry, I'm back, I promise. Something I was thinking about during that, and you know, it's, again, there's the issue of, should we be bringing these things back? Yes, I mean, that issue's still there, but stepping away from that for a second, if we're just going to say yes for the sake of argument.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like the idea that while the book entertains, again, the Umbral loophole, I would pose instead that they've just been hiding. Bats are not large things. The world is a large place.
True.
Bats prefer shit like caves and caverns that go deep and dark where people can't see fuck all.
You're right.
You're going to tell me you are going to chase down a single batch? How do you know you got the last one?
Well,
and especially when we look at the new context brought in this book, that it didn't happen that way. It wasn't they killed the bat and then actual bat screamed because now bat is... It's not that simple.
I was going to say, but we look back to the Shadowlord episode, and they physically say, not physically, but they say that when the last one was struck down...
They do say that.
And who's to say they weren't wrong?
Exactly. It is an oral tradition, and while we're at it, this is a Werewolf 20 book. That's a revised book. This is new information.
Solid point.
So who's to say that it didn't happen that way, and that's just how the legend goes? But in fact, there were, I don't want to say plenty, but others left. Who's to say there were more left in that cave?
Right.
That just acted like a normal bat.
Yeah, they were kinfolk, you mean?
Or no, they were just, there was another Kamataz. There were, let's say, you know, the last one that died, let's say there were 3 of them in that cave. And the other 2 just acted like normal bats.
Like, like, no, I'm just a regular bat. What are you looking at me for?
Right? It's crazy.
Yeah, go get that one. He's big. I'm just a little bat.
Look at him. He changed forms and everything. I can't do that, certainly. I'm going to fly away with these other guys. I mean, right?
Yeah. Or
no, he's got a point.
Let's present that scenario, right? Okay, you are a guy. I mean, put yourself in the shoes of Dark Law of Vengeance, right? It's not the point. You're walking in that cave and you're hunting down these fucking werebats, these creepy vampire motherfuckers, and their blood rituals and their wormy bullshit.
Yes.
And so how do you know one's there? Well, you probably use scent of the true form.
Probably, yes.
Right? I mean, that's a logical step.
Yes.
And it would go, boom, there's a bat shifter in here. Do one of these. But, you know, bats don't... You ever see bats?
Yeah.
Like, not a single one flying, but, like, in their
bunch of them?
Yeah.
In their natural habitats?
There's like fucking 100 of them hanging off the roof of the cave.
Yep.
So which one is it? You don't know.
All of them.
You know there's one, right?
At least, yes.
So what's to stop the other 2 that were there to just fake it? Act like normal bats and escape, while like the oldest one would like, I'll be the distraction. Because he knows there's one here. So what's to say there's not a small sect of them still out there aggressively hiding, right?
I agree with you. 100% I agree with you. Yes, it very easily can happen, and I like your workaround way better than the deep umbra hiding bullshit.
It feels like less of a cop-out and more plausible because, again, how much you can't spend a year in the umbra.
Right.
And, you know, there's a disconnect. You start to lose your body.
It's a month or something like that?
It's... Which version we looking at, find the chart, whatever. But there's a sept of stargazers that's only in the Umbra. Because they spent too much time there. They're just spirits. Okay. So guess what? If we're going back even to the Second War Rage, you ain't got a body. I mean, did you find the same secret tunnels that the Apis did that they're totally fine somehow?
They're all living together.
Right? We found, you know, the secret near realm Deus Ex Machina.
Oh, nice. Nicely done on that one.
So...
Yeah, okay.
It's just my thought. If you're going to do one, maybe they were always there and you just didn't know any better. It's like finding a ratkin.
Yeah.
Go to the sewers of New York and find me the ratkin that doesn't want to be found.
That doesn't want to be found?
Yeah, that's the underline there, that doesn't want to be found.
That's a different story.
It's not going to happen. Now, the raccoon, he'll shank you.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, he ain't going to run. He's going to shank you.
Or all of them will shank you. Or
you're gonna be
multiple shanks.
You're going to be like, you fucking raccoon, ow, my ribs! Get the sentence out.
Just for being adult, would Bat have reacted that way, knowing there were still some in existence?
Well, again, we have to suppose that the version that has been told to us prior to Changing Breeds 20 is the truth.
Uh-huh.
And it could be, but also we also have learned that there are now two versions of Bat playing Two-Face, vying for control. So maybe the screech that was heard did not signify what we thought it did.
It would signify something, just not, yeah.
Perhaps Wormbat's ultimate control, or at least
for that moment.
Temporary, like I've taken over, which is why we need all the extra effort outside to get the Gaian version back out.
Right.
Because that was when Wormbat won.
That makes more sense.
At least as much sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Agreed, yeah. So they're the Chematotes, Chemazotes.
Comatose.
Comatose, sure.
I still think the Apis are better.
I don't know. I think the bats are pretty sweet.
I've never had a bat burger, but a regular hamburger is delicious.
Well, and I'm a fan of Batman.
That too. I'm a big fan of Batman.
So
the world's greatest detective.
It's true. It'd be nice if we saw that in a movie.
Wouldn't it? Nah, I don't know when we'd ever get those.
So is it my turn?
It's yours. You get who?
All right, I picked the Khan.
No,
that's not right.
No, not at all.
No.
That was last time.
Yes, it was.
Because they're great.
You son of a bitch. You son of a bitch. God. You stole that from me.
You're right.
I was gonna make that joke.
You're welcome.
All right.
So who else is great?
I deserve it.
You're right.
I mentioned this already because I got first dibs.
Yep.
I picked the Gronder.
So we're just doing alphabetical order.
We really ended up doing it that way.
Yeah.
The Gronder kicks so much ass.
I would say this is probably your favorite.
I wish they were still alive. I'd roll one today. You would hear a different tune about me and Fera.
I'm excited to take a look into Savage Age because I'd like to try and do that. What we did with Chris and Grant.
Yeah.
And rolling that character and how easy that was. Thanks, guys, by the way.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I would love to try that one out.
And for the record, we are going to be doing a series on the Savage Age
tribes.
Breeds,
okay.
I mean, the whole shebang. We're going to be talking about those.
Yeah. It was one of our suggestions, and we loved it, so there we go.
So we'll be hearing some of these again because, they reimagine some of these breeds. All three of these, actually. The Comatose isn't out yet, but,
okay.
The Gronder's in their first book. So's the Apis.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah.
I know. I have the book.
Oh, see, excellent.
Yeah. See, you took advantage of that episode.
Now
Oh, I did.
Good for you.
Now, the Gronder were the werewolves.
Uh-huh.
All right, and they were charged to root out the taints and poisons in the world. They often worked with the girl, and it was a great team because essentially they'd go in and cleanse the land of corruption, and then the girl would heal the damage.
Oh, that's cool.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They had a deep appreciation for beauty and took pride in how striking and lush areas became under their care. I want to keep that. But see, the thing about the Gronder is they were total hardasses.
And didn't give a damn about anything.
Oh, no. Yeah, first of all, they were the definition of I can soak it.
No.
They were the definition of I can soak it. I mean, the way they could absorb all sorts of toxins and poisons and corruption just by nature of what they did.
Mm-hmm.
So there was already that. The cleansing the land, of they could soak all that taint, they can bring that into themselves, and that's how they do it. However, we can also talk about combat, because the Gronder would kick your ass.
See, that makes me even more excited to play the Gronder in Savage Age.
Oh, they were aggressive as hell, and they kicked the shit out of the Garu on the regular.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's a badge that you can't hand out to the rest of the Fera.
No.
Occasionally there'd be the best at or two that could hold their own, and I mean we know this.
Mm-hmm.
But no. The Gronder, I mean, in that book, it talks about specifically Silver Fang's Geta Fenris and Fianna.
So, like, among the top of the warrior tribes of Garu.
If you're embarrassing a Geta Fenris on the battlefield, I'm just saying, right?
Oh,
That's saying something.
yeah.
Wow.
I want to pull a quote here. I got a quote set up here. As the Grandeur believed that they were nearly incorruptible as a result of their duty, werebores charged willingly into bane nests and waded into powerful blights and hellholes to cleanse the taint. Where other Fera might retreat for fear of corruption or possession, Grandeur would advance, daring the minions of the worm to steal their bodies and warp their minds. And when a spirit attempted to possess one of their kinfolk, the werebore would not only repel the invader, but tear it apart in the process. Grandor charged through balefire, taunted Nexus crawlers in their dens, and emerged wounded and weary, but spiritually unharmed.
Holy hell!
These guys were like the definition of "fuck you, get out of my way." I think "hold my beer" was one of their totems.
That's a Nexus crawler. Don't get anywhere. Hold my beer. Holy shit, that's awesome!
I know.
I'm mad at you. I want the Grandor this next time.
You can have them.
Okay.
You get dibs on them for Savage Age.
Sweet. Well, I picked the character. I gotta make something like that.
But the Grandor, they actually developed a ritual that would let them literally eat a bane that had possessed a person, place, or object.
They'd eat the bane.
That was possessing someone. Think about that. There's no way back from that on a normal day.
No.
They eat it. Literally eat the bane.
You know, this kind of makes sense. Because, like, if you ever want to get rid of something, and maybe I shouldn't say this on air, but, like...
I think you know.
All right, I'll stop right there.
Yep, just stop right there. Don't implicate anything. But see, not only that, right? But the Right Master could use the bane's powers while it was being digested.
Whoa! Good lord!
Yeah. Like, imagine, it eats a Nexus crawler and can warp reality for, like, a week and a half while he's taking care of that thing.
It's just digesting.
Yeah.
Well, holy shit!
Yeah, they were, and I mean, of course, they were incredibly resistant to, like, that taint, like we were talking about, because it was their job, to cleanse it. But it wasn't just about the land. It was also about the other shifters. See, you talk about, people going after, like, a corrupted Kamatas. Now, the Grandor would also be going after that corrupted Kamatas.
Well, yeah, they gotta get rid of corruption.
And they were relentless about it. They were brutal, savage, and relentless. They didn't care who they pissed off or who they ran through to purge worm taint. They'd even go after, like, the overly prideful, ambitious, or cruel. The people who weren't necessarily worm tainted. But they see that shit and they go,
he's close. I should get him anyway.
Yeah, we're going to teach you a lesson to keep you...
God.
Only, when you hear that teach a lesson, you think about, like, the wise Ragabash, who was or the Nuisha, or the Korax.
Maybe teaching a little trick.
Right.
To get you to think. Right.
Right. That's not the way the Grandor would do it.
Just beat it into you.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was, their lesson was like you better watch yourself. But the thing is, brutal as the Grandor were, that shit was, and here's a quote, rough, painful, and humiliating.
There we go. So humiliating.
So we go back to the War of Rage.
Okay.
The Grandor were kicking Garu ass here.
After everything you just told me, I can imagine so.
And you got to remember is that this all kind of started, I mean, we hear about, we talk about Crooked Worm from the Death Bear a lot. But, the accepted understanding of the kickoff of the War of Rage was over...
Many, many things.
Many, many things, but predominantly...
Many
the
years.
resurrection ability of the girl was kind of the straw.
Right.
That's the kind of accepted understanding of how this all began. It was Garu against Gural, because you can bring our people back and you won't do it. You've been hiding that shit. Well, of course, working as close as they did, the Grandor were right up there to defend the Gural.
That's cool.
They had the Gural's backs, man. And again, they were kicking Garu ass. Slowly being underwhelmed, sure. But eventually, the Gural fucked off and went into hibernation.
Leaving the Grandor to fend themselves? Which they can, so
yeah,
sure.
I wouldn't say so much fed for themselves, but they kept that fight going. They did not and would not let that shit go. And see, eventually, yeah, they're getting overwhelmed, because here's the thing. All these changing breeds are watching this. They know what's going on. And it's like, well, the Garu, this isn't cool kosher what the Garu are doing. But man, the Grandor are dicks. And then the Bastet and the Naga would remember the lessons taught to them by the Grandor, the time they're picking up their teeth for a month.
Right, the lessons they just beat into them. Like, I don't want to fucking do that again.
And so essentially, they just all kind of they just kind of took a step back and watched this asshole off between the Garu and the Grandor. It was like a professional asshole contest. We'll just see who wins and figure it out later.
So the Grandor being dicks, so are the Garu, but the Grandor are the only ones who can really match them. So
we're just going to see what happens.
Yeah, we'll just sit back and relax.
I think it was a legitimate asshole off.
Oh my god!
And and it didn't help either. You added that the Garu were passing rumor. Well, kind of fact, but putting the spin on.
Right.
The Garu do some pretty creepy shit. It allegedly come out fine. Didn't I just talk about eating Banes like a minute ago?
That's why I'm giving you weird eyes here, which obviously they can't see me. But,
that doesn't sound right.
No.
So you send that Silent Strider to, hey, these couple influential Den Realms or this place where the Korax get out and go, hey, did you know they eat Banes?
That
doesn't help either.
No. That's gotta, reek of corruption.
They don't. It doesn't sound good. The optics aren't great. And again, they're already pricks. So, the Garu ended up gaining the upper hand, and the rest is history. Mm-hmm. A bit about them, they live in packs called Sounders.
Sounders?
Sounders.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. And they're led by kings and queens.
Interesting.
Who get their role through combat.
Okay, that's cool.
I kick ass the hardest, so I'm the boss of you.
Yeah, King of the Hill.
Yep.
That sounds really like how the Apis are, because the Apis are pretty much the same thing. The bosses won by challenges.
No, but they had challenges of jacks and jump rope because they didn't like the. No, this was chain of command style. The chain I beat you with until you know who's in command. This was pick up teeth, not pick up sticks.
I think that's 3 in a row we did that with.
Probably. I could pick up teeth and pick up sticks.
Firefly.
If you don't know the show, just watch it. Shut up.
Watch it and shut up.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
That's right. The Gronder have 5 forms, so they got the whole suite.
Okay.
They also surprisingly use rage. I know that from what I described, you wouldn't think.
No, of course not.
No, not at all.
Yeah, right. 3 breeds, just like the Garu. They don't have auspices, but each breed has a role.
Oh.
So that's how they do this differently.
Oh, that makes sense then. Okay.
So the Hamid are generally in charge of maintaining and monitoring the lands that have already been cleansed.
So keeping it clean.
Yeah.
Got it.
The Metis, they are sterile, but not deformed, and they're not looked down upon.
Okay, well, if they're not deformed, the spirit's not deformed either.
But they're also, they play the role, dual parts as scouts and frontline soldiers. They're the tip of the spear. And the thought process behind that is because they can't breed anyway.
Got it.
No,
that's awesome, though.
Yeah.
Look, you don't have a family at that point. You're already cannon fodder.
You cannot pass on the bloodlines, so you're first.
That's fair.
You know what it really is. I kind of appreciate that take.
Yeah.
They're not treated badly. Just, look, you're not pregnant. I promise. Uh-huh. First. JD is, so she's back there a ways. And then you have the not lupus.
The lupus adjacent.
Yeah. They're called the Scrofa, but they're hunters. They're right behind the Metis. They're the ones going into battle actively seeking out places that are corrupt. Oh. So, they're the ones who clean it, then the Hamids come in and maintain it.
I like that.
It's a pretty neat, I think there's a pretty neat hierarchy. And then, of course, there's one more thing we have to discuss, and that is the Skull Pigs.
I was going to say, is that...
Yeah, I was waiting for that.
Well, because, those are your favorite worm beastie.
Yes.
But before getting into Skull Pigs, is there a modern-day version, or is the Skull Pig the modern-day version?
Well, and that's the funny thing, is it says specifically in this book that only the worm, nobody but the worm will ever really know what happened.
Okay.
That's the quote. Only the worm will know whatever truly happened is the
quote. Yeah, quote, but close enough. Yeah. It's the same thing.
So there's room to play there. They specifically say, and this is the interesting thing, is that there are feasible, viable kinfolk for the Grandor still in existence.
Kinfolk.
Not baby's first choice, but
specifically kinfolk.
Specifically kinfolk.
Okay.
So if there were a way, they actually could continue on, theoretically.
Wow.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. And it's funny because you hear my tone kind of change because I like these guys a lot. Mm-hmm. And I still don't know if it's necessarily a good idea, but I was thinking about it last night.
Okay.
And
what to do as far as bringing them back and how you could?
What would that would look like? And, I like them a lot, but that doesn't mean it doesn't make that okay.
Right.
That doesn't make it good writing.
That's fair.
Like, if I were to have them step out of the deep umbra, guess what? I just spent the last hour calling other people a hack for that. I'm a hack if I write that. It doesn't make it better just because I like the thing. But I was thinking again, as we have before, we're running with the scenario. I like the idea of a couple coming back or being back or a fluke birth. A random whatever. Mm-hmm. I don't know what. But really in my mind I saw one guy.
So just with all the kinfolk that are possibly there, or that are still there, you get one, maybe two random births.
Random genetic fluke or a way to bring... But I didn't have this, the details.
Logistics yet?
Yeah, the logistics in my head. Because I'm not writing this story.
No.
But I just thought, what if, right? Okay. It's like Lyric the other day. He hit me up for, what'd you do for a Wild West campaign? I'm like, well, give me a second. I come back, I have a smoke, I come back, I'm like, okay, here. But I like the idea of maybe like one, right? Maybe two or three are fine. But they're there to cleanse one thing. They do one thing, and the first thing I thought of was the first Ronin.
One that we talked about that was in Erebus?
No.
My mistake.
No, I was equating that with the first Ronin at the time, I believe. But
I think that's why I mixed it up.
No, we're talking Storyteller book, I believe Storyteller 1 and 1-1, I believe.
Okay.
The first Ronin, Melissa, you know what I'm talking about, yeah?
Yeah, I do. I can't place it off the top of my head, but I do remember reading it somewhere.
It's one of those two books, possibly mentioned in both, but Worm 1, Storyteller 1.
Okay. So
which is a second edition book. Storytellers 1 is a second edition book. Also, your first Tribe books are second edition books.
So dumb. Yep.
It's been driving me nuts lately. Everyone's been calling those first Tribe books first edition books. Those are not first edition books.
Oh, no.
Anyway, but the idea of the first Ronin, right? Because he was allegedly the first Metis, the first Ronin, this unkillable force of pure corruption. And what if you had these one or two or maybe even three Grandor that either were born in secret in whatever, or through whatever MacGuffin, or however, are in the world now.
They were born just for that one thing.
To sacrifice their lives to remove the first Ronin from the table.
Holy shit, dude.
And it doesn't have to be the first Ronin, but I'm thinking some large-scale corrupted evil like that. And the first Ronin has traditionally been an unkillable force. You don't kill him, he just vanishes if you get close. You reform somewhere else. Maybe it's the Nightmaster. But something that is big and corrupt that no one can get rid of, and that would be the reason to bring them back, is like it was Gaia's purpose to, okay, you guys have to take care of this, you got one last job. Something big enough where they could handle the combat, but, in the process of, again, probably literally eating the first Ronin, they'd get rid of them, but it would kill them.
Yeah, because you need something so, obviously we know with their combat style how, and their ways to eat the corruption and be able to defend that off, maybe they're the only ones that could actually handle it.
Exactly. And then at the same time, even that would be too much for them, so it would ultimately be fatal. Because I would never, as cool as I think they are, I would never advocate to bring them into the modern day as a viable, currently surviving and thriving changing.
Right.
They're gone.
Yeah.
Well, that's because you just said you're not a hack.
Right. But as far as the Skull Pigs, we don't know what really happened, but I do seem to recall reading about a thing about the last Grandor.
Okay.
It's like they were doing their duty, they were chawing down on some corrupted land, only to be caught unaware, and their throats were slit, unceremoniously. Like, I remember reading it, like, the deaths of the last Grandor were just nothing. Like, they were just slaughtered, whatever, it's Tuesday. Let's go out for some Apis burgers. And, but their bodies were left there in this rot, and I'm just going to assume this blight, that they were noshed on to cleanse. And all of the corruption and fucking sickness that they were currently digesting
just spewed
merged
out.
Merged with the blight and all that, and kind of went into them, and that's how the Skull Pigs were born. Those were the first Skull Pigs. I remember reading that somewhere. That said, I don't remember where it was, and I couldn't find the fucking book. I hunted for a bit, I couldn't find the passage.
So if someone's got it...
It's possible I made this up.
It sounds cool as hell.
But I remember reading it somewhere.
That's kind of awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, the three, and I say, again, I don't think you should do it, but the three, the Grandor are the viable ones to come back and, like, exist full time. They think a boar is a perfectly healthy totem.
Yes.
No sickness, no hidden, no gotta be cleansed. They have viable kinfolk and a totem in existence. It's not unfeasible. Don't do it. But it's not...
And if you do it, here's...
Just make sure
temporary.
you do it well.
Do it well and only temporary.
I can't make you, but...
Hey...
You can do a bad job. Everyone has a right to do a bad job.
But you don't want to do a bad job.
That's right. You know what you want to do?
A really good job.
You want to ring the bell.
Ring the bell.
Melissa, you want to ring the bell?
Sure, go ahead.
Ding, ding, ding.
I mean, we didn't have like a sound effect.
Maybe I can add one in there.
Well, you may have. You have everything else.
I don't know about that.
I got a list of shit I don't have.
The list of stuff we don't have is much
Oh.
bigger.
It's in a warehouse somewhere. Gotta move it to a bigger location.
Ding, 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 then.
Yeah, all right.
We're ringing the bell.
Well, you know...
Don't do a shitty job.
Yeah. No, seriously, though, you know, we're kind of pivoting for a second here, but you run a game on our server. Certainly you embrace the concept of ringing the bell in your game, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, good enough's not good enough. Always do your best.
Is that kind of like a teaser for next week, then?
You know, it very well could be. But that's a story for next week. Melissa, what do you think hanging out for another week or sitting in and doing another show with us?
Anytime.
Right, how about this time?
Sure.
All right. See, for them it's a week. For us, it's going to be 10 minutes.
Oh boy.
We know our way through the deep umber. It's fine.
Oh, here we go. We just said don't do a hack job.
Oh, Bob. But I think that...
You know what? If you had fun today and you want to have some more fun, come find us out on Discord.
Yep, you can get there through our website. That's rageacrosstheinternet.com. Right through our forums, and there's
some cool shit there, guys.
There definitely is. You know what I put in the other day, and I didn't tell anybody?
Uh-oh.
I wanted to see who would notice.
I didn't. I apologize.
Is somebody found an archive, like a mirrored archive of BJ Zanzibar's World of Darkness.
Really?
Yeah, so I put that link in the forums.
Look at that. See? A reason to go in the forums, guys.
And like, if you guys don't know BJ Zanzibar's, it was a fan site for the World of Darkness, where people made fan submissions. Fetishes, totems, character essays, all sorts of shit.
Yeah.
But it wasn't really screened.
Okay, so it was just the Wild West.
Yeah, so it was like a den of crazy.
It's whatever you thought of.
Yeah.
You just put in there, huh?
There were like 3 or 4 Were-Penguin write-ups. If you wanted to play a Were-Stallion, it was live when Pokemon first got big.
So there was Pokemon?
There might have been. There were definitely Pokeball fetishes. I remember those existing.
Jesus Christ.
But there was...
Ooh, a Were Eevee. That's Jade's favorite Pokemon.
Well, there might have been a fetish to Eevee spirit or something in BJ Zanzibar's World of Darkness. Hi, Jade. Also,
Hey, Jade, come hang out with us on Discord.
There you go. But there were also some real gems in there, too. And that was part of the fun.
But you probably had to dig through a lot of shit.
It was part of the fun. Do you remember, Danny, and this is Radio for One, so I'm sorry.
That's all right.
That outtake I did during the Guilty between Dox and Dooley?
Yes, I do.
Yes, he does.
Oh, boy, yes, I do. And we can't put that on air.
No, we can't put that on air.
We'll tell you after, Melissa.
I look forward to this story.
Yeah, you'll get a kick out of this, but we can't say it on air. That Crino shotgun was a fetish on BJ Zanzibar's World of Darkness.
Oh, so you took that from there, or you made it and put it out there?
No, I didn't make it. I was inspired by it. Because the one in BJ Zanzibar's was legitimate.
Okay.
Like someone designed that you had to be strength 6 to fire the thing or whatever.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's ridiculous. But so I took that and what would that look like, and that's where I was inspired by that scene.
Oh, that's awesome. Look at that. Look at On our forums, we get some really cool shit just like that. So come check out the forums.
Yeah, and in there you can find the link to our Discord and the forums, like we were saying. And while you're there, you can check out our store.
Yeah, there's some really cool shit in the store
There
again.
is some cool shit in the store again. Our buddy Lyrics, who, by the way, recently was promoted to mod. He's filling in for our dear friend Strides, who needed to take a step back for a little bit. Take care of...
Personal shit.
Yeah, personal stuff's more important than Discord stuff. So, Lyrics stepped up to fill that gap, so thank you, buddy. But he was talking the other day about how he needed to order a new coffee cup.
But did he not have, the old one?
Well, apparently he left it in his car.
Oh, no.
Which is fine. He was just being lazy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, he's like, I'm too tired to go to my car to get it, so I just need to order a new one. And so I told him, well, while he's at it, we have that new comforter.
So we got that,
and the pillow sham, so he could,
You want to go sleep in your car?
we got sleepwear, buddy. You can do it.
Melissa even has some stuff from that store.
Yes.
What do you think about that stuff?
I drink my coffee from my mug every morning.
And I bet you that makes the coffee taste better.
Can't prove
It
it's
does.
not.
Can't prove that's not true.
Yeah. Because I drink from the mug every day, too. It's so
Yeah, I use mine.
well, it's a
own.
large mug.
I know.
It's our old one, the small one we did have. It wasn't enough coffee.
No, it wasn't.
No.
No, I wanted to make sure that it would fill up the highest setting on my Keurig.
Right.
And, make sure that's black because you don't want a white coffee. The inside, you get the coffee stains and it looks gross.
Yeah. It's
and
gross.
you don't want to see that.
No.
It's black. So it's always going to look good.
No.
Nice, packed well, too.
Yeah.
I'm impressed how well those were packed.
This isn't going to break. Probably throw.
I was going to say
against a wall, but
let's not advocate for
probably
that.
could.
Yeah, I'm definitely not worried.
On packaging and
that
shipping.
It's in transit.
Yeah, I agree. Once those came in, I was very impressed.
Yeah, but we have lots of cool stuff if you want some Rage Across the Internet merch. And if you have any ideas for stuff, let us know because
we're looking to put stuff on all the time.
Yeah.
So,
ideas
and suggestions always welcome.
We have new options. There's a couple things on there that are on there because of listener suggestions.
Yep.
I think the shirt you're wearing right now, that style of shirt you're wearing right now, Danny.
Yes, it is.
Was a listener suggestion.
Correct.
So, there you go. I mean, I'm not a fashion man. So, if you got ideas, let us know.
Even cooler than the store, Patreon.
Patreon is even cooler. And it's a really great way to support us. Obviously, we got our Patreon. Great rewards, but those are listed there. And if you have any further questions, guess what?
Reach out.
Reach out to us at rageacrosspodcast@gmail.com. No thought. Just Rage Across Podcast. And, or Discord. There's always someone there in the Discord, or you can just send us a DM. It's fine.
We'll get to it.
Yeah, we will.
Patreon's a bigger deal because we get to give back.
Yeah, we really enjoy that. We think the rewards we think they're good.
We have a lot of fun doing them.
Yeah, it's our way of saying thank you.
There's a special one coming up, and
I kind of want to air that for everybody.
Oh, we're doing it?
I don't know, maybe.
Oh, man. Well, he just said it on there, so it's probably happening.
Well, I said maybe.
Okay.
It's not just, it could just be my decision, but it's not just my decision.
True, but it's not a bad idea.
Well, we'll talk about it.
Yeah. So, little spoiler and teaser even, because there's
potential teaser, yeah.
For those postmortems, the second tier on Patreon, there's a big thing coming up for you guys, and we're excited to bring it to you. It's going to take a little work to get there.
Melissa knows about it, but she can't talk about it either.
Yep.
Ain't that right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, those are ways you can support us. And if, we've been saying a lot about things that cost money. And
it's unfortunate.
Well, look, we have overhead.
We have overhead. We have work to do too.
Right.
So the support helps, but at the same time, it doesn't cost money and is still a huge help and huge support.
Exactly. Danny, how can someone help us without spending any money?
Spread the word. Word of mouth. Hit those likes. The Apple Podcast, the 5 stars and the reviews. It's such a big deal. We have no idea why, but it is. Help us circulate, get us in the ear holes of other people who love Werewolf just as much as you. That's
right. Because we love putting on the show. We want as many people here as possible. It's because of people like you guys listening. We love sharing this with you. It's all about you guys. We wouldn't be doing it without you.
Absolutely.
But I think that's enough.
That's enough shilling.
Yeah, it's enough shilling. It's enough gushing. Melissa, thanks so much for joining us.
Oh, always.
And we'll see you next week.
Yeah, we're going to cradle you in for next week.
Excellent.
In the meantime, On behalf of everyone here at Scratch Wolf Studio, the ever-missing Tom, Daniel Tyson, and our dear friend Melissa, I want to say thank you for listening. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Take it easy. Keep huntling. And we'll see you next time. See ya.